Hi, I'm Christine Cheever, and welcome to the All Friends Cabaret. It's the show that connects you. Well, in the cabaret, we have singing, we've had dancing, we've had comics here share their story, but there's also another art that we're going to talk to you about this evening, and that is the art of self-defense. And so tonight we have in the cabaret Jack Marshall. Welcome to the show, Jack. How are you? How are you?
Very good. I'm great tonight.
Thanks for so much for coming on the show. And the focus of your art is Alpha Krav Maga, and we're going to get into what that actually is in a moment. But I want to talk to you about your background. You have a very extensive background that, you know, we could see why you're a teacher of self-defense. You're from Boston,
From
right?
Boston,
okay,
sure.
And you were in the Marine Corps.
Yes, I served 4 years in the Marine Corps.
Okay, where were you stationed?
Originally, I went through Paris Island and then up to Cherry Point and then out to 29 Palms in the Mojave Desert in California.
Oh, okay. So you were stationed there, and
Yes.
and how did that training kind of prepare you for what you were going to do in the future?
Well, as an engineer, we were building everything, clearing land. In the air wing, we were basically preparing to set up functioning runways, airstrips with all the infrastructure anywhere in the world within 48 hours.
Oh, okay. So that'd be quick.
Very quick.
Yes.
And so that the fighters could come in off the carriers and function from a land base. And I specialized in desert climate because the United States decided that there was always some sort of situation that they would have to have Marines ready for a desert climate. We train in all different environments, and I was in the desert warfare specialty.
Oh, wow. Okay. So then from there, did you come back to Boston? What was your next?
I did come back to Boston. Interestingly enough, I'd like to point out that while I was in the Marine Corps and serving at 29 Palms in the desert, was the first time I came across Krav Maga.
Okay.
There were some Israeli commandos training there, and we were very close to each other. And in our off time, we observed them training, and we liked what they were doing.
Okay.
So we went over and talked to them and said, "What is this fighting system?"
And so that was your first kind of look into it?
Right. That's the first time, and I said, "Wow, this is great. This is so much more than what we have in the Marine Corps right now." So we started to train a little bit with them, and it was really interesting.
Okay. And so tell me about how I've read in your bio that you've boxed,
Yes.
you've done Taekwondo,
Yes.
you've done lots of different, and so, but tell our audience, what is Alpha Krav Maga? What is the?
Alpha Krav Maga. Krav Maga is it's a self-defense system. It's the only known system of self-defense in the world. It's not a martial art. Alpha Krav Maga is our company. 12 of us started it over a year ago. Our CEO and founder is Sam Sadeh, and he's a former Israeli commando. He was also a student of Emi Lichtenfeld, the founder of the system, who created it.
And so what are their main mottos? What's the motto, or what's the basic principles?
Our main motto of Krav Maga is that one may walk in peace.
Okay, even though you're taught to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
We believe everyone has a right to defend themselves.
All right. All right. And so how do you put a peace principle in the middle of if someone's coming after you? You know?
Well, initially what we train in Alpha Krav Maga is to not get into that situation in the first place. We talk about and train different scenarios, street awareness, using your street smarts, learning some things about your environment, functioning and growing a sense of passive awareness. So you are looking around more cognizant, for instance, not on your cell phone, not totally distracted.
Right.
If you're leaving a mall or your business at the end of the day, you need to keep your eyes open, and if you're approaching your car, look at your car. If you're coming home, see if there's anything out of place.
Right.
Just a state of awareness, greater awareness.
And then how is it different from, say, me just signing up for a basic self-defense course?
In Krav Maga, Alpha Krav Maga, we're trying to help everybody get a black belt in life. We're covering.
Okay. Yes, I liked when I saw that. It's like,
Yes.
that's a great,
Everybody that walks through the door
thing.
that's wants to learn self-defense, generally speaking, has some kind of an issue that they want to deal with. So we talk about nutrition. We educate about nutrition, awareness, self-defense. People have self-esteem issues, confidence issues.
Right.
Some people just want to learn self-defense. Some people want to exercise and get in better shape. There's a lot of reasons.
Lots of different reasons, but it's those principles of kind of applying who you are in with that teaching or learning.
As far as my applying who I am, yes, I'm bringing all my background to bear on the issues that we have.
And let me ask you about that background, because I did read that you, tell me about the security training or the work that you did.
All right.
And who you worked for in the security business.
Sure. Well, you know, being a Marine, we get a lot of security training.
Yes.
And we're very good at it. After I got out of the Marine Corps, I worked in Boston. I was going to UMass, and I got a job as the security supervisor at the Bayside Expo.
All right.
Also during that time, my brother had a marketing and advertising company that was international, and he had some contacts with people that needed work done. They needed some security done. So he contacted me, and I contacted other people that I knew that were capable or had training. And we started working up in different major event venues for the Winston Pro Series.
All right.
And then that evolved into out of Bayview Security. That evolved into me working for different celebrities like Jane Kennedy, Richard Petty, Mickey Dolenz, a lot of different people. And
what do you basically, so do you always feel like you're on, like,
no,
okay,
not
yeah,
at all.
because I was thinking, if that's your background, are you walking in a store and going, oh, that looks suspicious, or it's not that type of training?
It is that type of training, but at this point in time, it's very comfortable. I'm just in a passive state of awareness. I see things that may raise a little suspicion or a question mark, and I'll look at them and I'll try and figure out what's behind that. But it's not, you know, the expression that I use when I'm talking to my students is, we don't want to become a paranoid freak. It's not what we're looking for.
And I think during the times prior to 9/11, I lived in the New York City. I lived in New Jersey, but I worked in New York at the time. What a difference between you know, September 10th to September 11th going forward, that our thinking has changed, and it did turn a bit paranoid because of just the type of event it was.
Yes.
I know there are basics to look for and to follow. So just even a basic question of how can one person protect themselves at the mall parking lot, you know, or what to look for at an event if something looks suspicious, or to prevent like something bad from happening, because sometimes you can't, like the marathon bombing was something out of the blue and terrible, but what is your teachings for that?
You know, one of the main things about the marathon bombings is unattended bags. You know, I've been aware of that since the early 80s.
Okay.
If a bag is unattended,
that's
I'm very suspicious about that.
Yes.
That is definitely a red flag.
Yes, yes. And what
especially
about,
a large bag.
Right. Okay, so it's the bags, walking in a parking lot. Say I'm walking to my car. What can you do? What can a basic gal like me do to protect myself?
The first thing you should do when you're getting ready to walk to your car is not be on your cell phone and look around. Look around the environment, see what's out there. Look at your car. Look down the row of maybe storefronts or over here. If you have any suspicions whatsoever, feel free to contact the security guard and say, I'm very nervous. Could you please find someone to walk me out to my car?
Okay.
The other thing is when you get to your car, you have to look in the back seat. You have to, as you're approaching the car, kind of try and see under it. The idea is to not be a victim, to use our heads and just a little bit of education. It's not like I'm, you know, down on my
oh, there's Jack
down
hiding
on the
behind
ground
his
crawling
car.
up to my car.
No,
it's not like that.
Right. Yet, who is the most vulnerable? Is there a statistic of one more person is more vulnerable than the other, or is there a statistic of who is more of a victim than not? Is that?
Generally, statistically, it would be people who are alone and people who are unaware and distracted, and also people who do not look confident.
Okay, okay. And so it's probably smart to, when I'm leaving my house, if it's, you know, dark out, hold my keys and walk proudly, right? Is that?
I would suggest that.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit more
Among
about,
other things.
Right, right. I won't go searching, you know. But let's talk a little bit about your boxing,
Yes,
too.
yes.
You trained for a while. Tell me a little bit about that.
I trained a lot. I really enjoyed boxing quite a bit. While I was fishing on draggers out of Boston Harbor and Scituate Harbor and offshore lobstering, when I had time, and also, you know, it's a span of years that I was boxing.
Yes.
I was going to UMass, I was working at the Bayside Expo, I was doing different jobs. I would always go to the gym. I trained at Connolly's Gym in South Boston. Then I trained over at the New Garden Gym across from Boston Garden. And I trained with professional fighters as well as amateur fighters, Golden Glove fighters, and just other guys who were very into the sport of boxing.
And what would you say to your, as a trainer?
Yes.
What was your most important piece of advice that you would give to your, you know, your competitor? Who you were training?
Okay, my most important bit of advice would be to keep your hands up and keep your chin down.
Okay, that's good. Don't get hit in the face. Right?
Keep moving, keep your hands up and your chin down.
Okay, okay.
That's basic.
And did you fight yourself?
I did not.
Oh, okay. You just always into the training.
I did not, I didn't, no professional fighting for me.
And
I was approached by Jimmy Conley. He said, would you
Yeah.
like to? And I said, I don't really think I'm that good to go all the way, and it's a very tough way to make a living. And
Right.
He said, you are a bit old, and at the time I was 25.
Oh, geez.
He said, I'd like to have started you when you were about 16.
Right, right.
know.
And do you find that, what is it about you that you kind of are drawn to helping people in this way? Because even if you're training a boxer or you're helping
Sure.
young women or men to,
Sure.
with the Alpha Krav Maga,
Yes.
what do you like most about it?
Everybody has the right to defend themselves, and everybody has the right to feel confident and enjoy self-esteem and self-worth. The benefits from training in Alpha Krav Maga are you get in good shape, you learn reality-based self-defense techniques that are proven to work. The Israelis are